So today the SPSA will provide an update on the flooding that is impacting our communities. Please feel free to record, cut clips, and quote today's call as needed. I would also like to note that we are recording this call and it will be available online later this afternoon. Joining us today are Steve Roberts, SPSA Vice President, Tyler Harrison, SPSA Manager, Emergency Services, Leah Clark, Executive Director, Irrigation and Economic Development with the Saskatchewan Water Security Agency, Patrick Boyle, Executive Director, Communications and Client Services with the WSA, and Dan Palmer, Senior Communications Consultant with the Ministry of Highways. Updates will be provided today by the SPSA, the WSA, and the Ministry of Highways. After that, members of the media will have an opportunity to ask one question and one follow-up at a time. Please be advised that this technical briefing did start with a hard stop at 2 p.m., but given our team's issues, we will definitely extend that a little bit. Now, for the update on behalf of the Saskatchewan Public Safety Agency regarding the flooding conditions across several Saskatchewan communities. These details mentioned are as 10 a.m. today. The SPSA is engaged with multiple agencies, including the Ministry of Health, the Ministry of Community Safety, and the Ministry of Highways. The SPSA is working with communities that are at risk of flooding or currently experiencing flooding conditions, providing resources and supports to several impacted communities. 35 communities have declared local states of emergency. Currently, the SPA is in contact with each of these communities and is supporting multiple communities and rural areas with staff or equipment resources. Of the 35 declared local states of emergency, 14 were declared in the past 48 hours. Those communities are the Muscadet First Nation, the northern hamlet of St. George's Hills, the village of White Fox, and the rural municipalities of Aberdeen, Big River, Garden River, Invermay, Kinistino, Leroy, Moose Range, Prairie Rose, Saskman, Usborne, and Wolverine. For information on specific locations, please refer to the SPSA's interactive map or other agencies' tools like the Highway Hotline, which have information such as road conditions. The rural municipality of Connaught issued an evacuation order on May 4th for residents along the Carrot River, running east to west across the north end of the RM. One evacuated family is being supported by the SPSA. The agency is aware that other communities have evacuated, but those evacuations are being led by other parties. SPSA's emergency services officers will continue to liaise with communities being affected by flooding and will continue to assist as required. Today, crews are going northwest to support communities in those areas. The SPA has supplied flooding response equipment to multiple communities across the province. An emergency response team and Type 1 crews were in the Buckland area yesterday providing support, and the agency delivered 1,000 feet of HESCO to Buckland at that time. The agency is aware that some houses have been impacted by the flooding, but the SPSA is not able to report on any specific numbers. If anyone is interested in a specific area, the best source of information would be the local authority from that area. We will continue to monitor all affected areas and provide updates as conditions evolve. With that, I will now turn it over to Leah Clark of the WSA.
Thanks, Jeff. So with warmer temperatures forecasted for the east central and northeastern areas of the province in the coming days will accelerate any remaining snowpack and will prolong and could add to high flows in these regions. While some areas have begun to recede, other basins have not yet reached their peak. The late thaw and higher than average snowpack combined with the late spring snowstorms continues to create significant runoff and flooding in the northeastern and east central Saskatchewan. The high flow advisory first issued in April and updated on May 4th remains in effect. Areas north of the Assiniboine Basin with remaining snowpack may see a surge or higher flows than currently being experienced. These increased flows could produce similar or slightly higher peaks than observed already, in particular at the Assiniboine River at Kamsack. Above normal flows are expected to continue for several days. Water Security Agency is seeing record flows in certain areas on the Carrot River. Smoky Burn saw the highest ever water flow recorded at nearly 1,000 cubic meters per second. Normally, this flow would be around 200 cubic meters per second. Armley showing the second highest measurement at almost 400 cubic meters per second. Normal flows for this time of year is around 70 cubic meters per second. In the Quill Lakes Basin, flows on the northern tributaries increased rapidly, and the preliminary assessment also suggests that they are the highest on record for Iron Spring, Magnuson, and Quill Creeks. The Carrot River has peaked in the upper part of the basin. The lower part is starting to show signs of receding, but some areas still remain high. Most of the Red Deer River Basin, located south of Hudson Bay, and tributaries are increasing and should peak in the next few days. Areas near Prince Albert are currently experiencing active snowmelt. Flows in the Sturgeon River near Prince Albert is extremely high. River levels in nearby systems, including the Spruce and Garden Rivers, are expected to see similar increases. WSA officials continue to work with communities, providing information on flows as they happen. WSA is also proactively contacting the communities identified in the extremely high flow areas to communicate the current situations. Some of you who have been on our website might have noticed we've updated that map as of this morning. Along with the 5 advisories, WSA has made over 1,200 proactive calls with local communities, RMs, and First Nations. And that's my update, Jeff.
Thank you, Leah. Much appreciated. Now I'll pass it over to Dan Palmer from the Ministry of Highways.
Thank you. So the Saskatchewan Ministry of Highways appreciates the patience and understanding of those affected by flooding and its impact on roads. Ministry of Highways equipment and personnel continue responding to emerging concerns, monitoring problematic areas, and supporting public safety efforts. Motorists should be aware that conditions have and continue to change rapidly. All drivers are reminded to check the highway hotline before traveling and before heading back from their destinations for the latest available updates. Road closures related to flooding and other incidents information can be seen on the interactive map and by clicking the text report link and selecting traffic events. This high snowfall this year is in parts of the province, followed by, of course, the rapid melt is creating an unusually high runoff. This is, of course, causing challenges on the provincial highway network, as we can all see. The fast-moving water is undermining road beds and causing challenges on the provincial highway network. It's too early to know what the full impact and cost of flooding will be on the road infrastructure, as this event is still unfolding in the province. But crews are working hard to keep the highways open and restore traffic service as quickly as possible under, of course, what are challenging circumstances. All available ministry resources are being deployed in the areas that are experiencing flooding. Culvert repairs are being done or replaced and as being completed as required. Pumps are being utilized where culvert infrastructure maybe can't keep up with water flows to keep roads open. And for a quick snapshot, as of now, there are about 11 provincial highway closures related to flooding and about 8 incidents related to water on the road. As the situation is dynamic, it's again important to check the highway hotline. Drivers be alert, drive to current road conditions, watch for signage, and obey all flag persons. And again, we appreciate the patience and understanding of those affected by flooding and its impact on roads. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. We will now open up to questions from the media. Please use your raise hand function to indicate you have a question. You will then be recognized when it's your turn. I would like to remind you that Please turn on your microphone and camera when asking your question, and then when you're finished, please turn them both off. I would also ask that media members, before asking the question, please identify yourself and the media outlet which you are representing. If there are any additional questions after today's meeting, please send them to the SPSA Communication Unit inbox. That's media.spsa@gov.sk.ca. This is the SPA's main contact for all media. So if there are any questions for the SPSA after today, this is the account you should be sending them to. So with that, we will start our questions. Let's first go to Christopher.
Thanks. Chris Vandenbrekel here with Global News. Question to the SPSA in this situation. You said that you can't give an update on the number of homes that are impacted. I'm curious as to why this is, because when we're dealing with wildfires through the season, we get these kinds of updates. We are given numbers in terms of homes impact, values impacted. Why is it different when it comes to the flooding? Why don't we have those numbers?
Steve, would you be able to handle that, please?
Yeah, I can answer that. In a wildfire event, we're actually managing the perimeters of those wildfires, and therefore we're fairly alert on where they have impacted, structures, values on the landscape. In widespread flooding, we are not aware of where those impacts are unless the RMs have sought assistance from us. And in single structures, that assistance goes to their insurance company. It does not come to the provincial government. So it's hard to track that information because the impact is not from an incident per se that we're managing. It's more from a consequence of the incident that's happening across the landscape right now.
Follow up, a bit of a different question. This one's for Dan. In terms of, you said 11 closures and 8 incidences of water on the highway. So kind of a two-parter here. Are those 8 incidents also impacting lanes or closures? And then with the 11 closures, are these cases of 11 different highways are experiencing closures, or are they like perhaps different parts of the same highway that are experiencing damage and are closed?
So in terms of the flooding on the road, it may be a case of where the highway is down to one lane, or there's water on the road and drivers need to be cautious. So that's in the case of water on the road. In terms of closures, it may be multiple highways or segments of highways. Best way to kind of check is check the hotline, look at the specific location you're interested in, and it'll show you. So it depends on the situation, the specific area, and the circumstance.
Thanks.
All right, I'm going to go to our chat. So we have a question in there. It's from SAS Today. Can you give us an update on the current flooding situation in Yorkton and the surrounding RMs? Leah, would you be able to address that?
Yeah, I can speak to, we've definitely seen peak flows in those areas, but we are still seeing flow. So in some of those terminal basins, we're seeing those levels kind of increase where they're settling, but we are seeing receding flows.
Okay. Just see. Okay, we've got another question in the chat from Neil. I'm not sure who wants to address this because it's not directly connected to flooding. There was a dangerous material leak 1 kilometer east of Macklin yesterday. Are there any more details of this? What's the product? Any safety concerns?
I can give a little bit of information if that's useful.
Okay, thank you, Dan.
So, the ministry is aware that there was some oil spilt along Highway 41 between Macklin and Saskatchewan and Provost, Alberta, so very close to the border. The highway was closed in the area in both directions because there was oil on the road. For the latest update on the status of that closure, check the hotline. But for some more details about what the product is and cleanup, please check with the Ministry of Environment.
Thank you. For our next question, let's go to Ashley.
Hello, Ashley Behrens with Global News. I'm just wondering what this repair process is going to look like. Like, do you guys know what you're filling it with? Like, are you going to be filling it with gravel? How soon is that going to be? And like, when are we going to start looking into long-term repairs?
I think you're up, Dan.
So basically, in a general sense, crews will use gravel or what's called riprap, which is rocks and other materials to quickly repair a road if it's been flooded out and washed out to get traffic service established as quickly as possible. That's the short-term fix. And then once the water recedes and things dry up, the ministry will assess to see what the long-term solution would be to repair that road. But in the interim, it is things of that nature to get traffic service flowing as quickly as they can. But bear in mind, it's a dynamic situation with the water's still happening, the flooding is still occurring, so they will do temporary repairs as quickly as they can. And once water recedes and the flooding incident is over and things dry out, there can be a good assessment to see what needs to be done to provide a permanent repair. So we'll see how the situation unfolds with the current flooding.
Would you have a follow-up? Would you have a follow-up, Ashley?
Yeah, are we going to be looking into emergency funding at all? Do you know yet?
I can't speak to that. There might be some others on the call here who can kind of talk about some of those types of things. But at this point, the ministry is working on establishing traffic service as quickly as it can on a temporary basis with those repairs, and permanent repairs will come later when the situation stabilizes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ashley. Let's go to Jacob.
Hey, Jacob Bamhauer here with 980 CGME. I'm just wondering about with the weekend coming up here, the temperatures do look to be kind of getting a little bit warmer. Is there still snow in some of the affected areas? And if there is, how might that look this weekend with the temperatures getting higher and stuff like that, I guess?
Steve, would you like to take a run at that one, please?
Sure. Yes, there is still snow in the northern portions of the province, which will contribute. I mean, that will be coming in the near future. We are seeing a slight downturn in the weather. Coming from the west, we will see a system that comes through that is cooler, which will slow the melt. Unfortunately, in areas that are already free, there will be some chance of showers with that. So it could cause some local concerns. But it all depends what's currently happening with the flows in those areas. But the melt itself will slow down with cool weather, and then it will reestablish once we warm up again. So the idea is that the snow will have to come off. Gradual and steady is the best for the emergency procedures, at least, and for stabilizing the situation.
Leah, would you like to add to that, or are we good to go?
So I think I would just add that on our website, we have kind of real day-to-day imagery of kind of where the snowpack is, and you can see visually where that is.
Thank you. Jacob, do you have a follow-up?
No, I do not.
Okay. So let me just see here. Okay, Ryan Young from CKRM has a question in the chat, and he was just asking about a repeat number of how many RMs have an active state of emergency as of today. And again, that's 35. So now we've gone around the room and everyone has had an opportunity to ask a question and a follow-up. Is there anyone else that would like to join in with an additional question while we have everyone here? All right.
I guess, sorry, I guess one
okay.
more.
Sure.
We just had a couple texters and callers call in about illegal draining. And do you know if any of the flooding has to do with illegal drainage by chance?
You can take that one, Jeff.
Thank you, Leah.
So with drainage as a whole, it's a very small part of the equation and definitely not the whole story here. With the late thaw, and I know we say this a lot, but the late thaw, we had higher than average snowpack. We had significant spring snowstorms, and it's creating significant runoff. You heard my update today, lots of record flows. And so significant runoff in the east central, northern Saskatchewan. Drainage with the magnitude of these events, we know it has little impact. In many different landscapes across the province, we've seen flooding events from forest fringe to ag lands. So just kind of showing that diversity of those flood events that expand actually beyond agriculture areas.
All right. Thank you, Leah. So we'll go around the room one more time. Is there anyone else that would like to ask a question? All right. Having said that, then I guess I'd just like to thank everyone for participating today. A reminder that if you do have any questions going down the road, media.spsa@gov.sk.ca is the email address you should use to submit those questions. Again, thank you and have a safe rest of your day.